dedicated in memory of David Yaakov ben Dov Ber of blessed memory, Palak. Sponsored by his friends, Mr. and Mrs. Sabi Behar, Mr. and Mrs. Jonathan Heller, and Mr. and Mrs. Kim Marks. Shalom and welcome to Souls on Fire. This Sunday is Purim, the holiday of the mask. Jim Carrey, under the pen of his producers, had an experience with a mythical mask. What is the Jewish experience behind the mask? Stay tuned, my friends, for The Mask. The book of Esther is the only of the entire 24 holy written scriptures which has no mention of God's name at all. Additionally, when our sages look for the hint of the holiday of Purim in the 5 books of Moses, because all of time exists hidden within the 5 books of Moses, they find that Esther comes from the word Hastir Aster, where God is foretelling us of a time when he will hide his face from us in our time of need. And thus became the custom on Purim to wear the mask, commemorating God hiding his face from us and all that evolved from that. So, what lies behind the mask? Sit back, relax, and watch a clip from The Mask.
This is the story of Stanley Ipkiss.
Stanley, you are the nicest guy. Really, you are.
Yeah. His job is at the bank.
You're 40 minutes late. Now, that's the same as stealing.
I'm sorry, Mr. Dickey. It'll never happen again.
He loves his dog.
Come on, Ron. Give him to me. Drop it.
He's polite to his landlord.
Ipkiss, do you have any idea what time it is?
You know, Mrs. Penman,
What?
nothing.
And the most exciting thing in his life are his pajamas. But now,
Hey, you! What are you doing down there? I'm just looking for my mask.
all that is about to change. Because Stanley Ipkiss is not the man he used to be. Smokin'!
It's like it brings your innermost desires to life. You become some sort of love-crazy wild man.
I want him here tomorrow, alive.
Now, you have to ask yourself one question. Do I feel lucky? Do ya? Thanks.
Jim Carrey is
That's the guy. Hello.
The Mask.
Ooh, somebody stop me!
Jim Carrey learned that the secret of the mask is not that it hides who you are, rather, it actually magnifies who you are. Interesting indeed. So, here's a question. If the mask is all about God's name not being mentioned in the book of Esther, and of God hiding his face from us in our deepest time of need, then why are we commemorating this by the custom of wearing masks with such celebration? Technology has created the deepest mask of all. If it is a mask's job to create anonymity, then the internet has definitely become the greatest and deepest mask of all. Interesting how psychologists were originally surprised that the shy people would only suffer more from their paranoia by getting involved with the internet. The reason is because even though they spend so many hours creating such a social life in AOL chat rooms and the likes, however, it was all done behind anonymity as they created one profile after another profile after another profile of who they were. So, who are we hiding from most? If you've ever witnessed or experienced by yourself or by a friend what addicts in recovery call hitting rock bottom, you will learn that the greatest, deepest, most horrific mask of all is the one called denial. I believe that before one can take off the mask in between ourselves and the world, one may actually need that mask to give us some personal space behind which to hide as we get to know ourselves. One may never get to know himself, his strength, his challenges, or his destiny before God puts on his mask. Maybe Jim Carrey was right. Maybe we do need the mask on God's face and our mask between us and the world for just enough time to be able to take off the mask between us and ourselves. Then, as we learn of ourselves, we can finally take off the mask between us and everyone else. Yes, the mask is something to celebrate as we learn the art of trust, acceptance, and honesty. So, go out and get yourself a Purim mask behind which you can get to see your true self. Happy Purim. My friends, dare to be a soul on fire, connecting with your higher self.